Canada is known for its welcoming stance, often celebrated for its open arms and diverse population. The country has long been a beacon of hope for many seeking a better life. But things might be changing. Recent developments suggest a shift in how Canada manages its borders and immigration policies. The Canadian government recently introduced a new law that has sparked widespread discussion and debate. It is called the Strong Borders Act, a name that signifies its intent and purpose. This act signals a shift in policy, aiming to address both security concerns and immigration management. It aims to make Canada's borders more secure by implementing advanced technologies and stricter regulations. Many people are talking about this new law with opinions ranging from strong support to vocal opposition. The Strong Borders Act is a significant piece of legislation marking one of the most substantial changes in recent years. It proposes many changes to how Canada manages its borders, including new protocols for entry and exit. These changes will affect many people, from tourists and business travelers to immigrants and refugees. They will impact how individuals enter Canada, potentially making the process more stringent. They will also affect those seeking asylum, introducing new criteria and procedures for their applications. The government says these changes are necessary to protect the country and its citizens. They argue it is for national security, citing global threats and the need for vigilance. This act is a response to global trends, reflecting similar measures taken by other countries. It also addresses specific Canadian concerns, such as illegal immigration and border security. This new law has not arrived quietly. It has sparked protests and debates, with many questioning its implications for Canada's identity and values. The Strong Borders Act introduces several key changes. One major change involves asylum claims. The process for making a claim will be different. There will be stricter eligibility criteria. Some claims might be processed much faster. This could mean quicker decisions for some. For others, it might mean quicker rejections. The government wants to deter what it calls irregular crossings. Another important part of the act is enhanced screening. This applies to all individuals entering Canada. It includes visitors, immigrants, and asylum seekers. The act allows for more use of biometric data. The goal is to verify identities more effectively. It is also to identify security risks early. Several factors prompted Canada to introduce the Strong Borders Act. One major reason is an increase in asylum claims. In recent years, Canada has seen more people seeking protection. This has put a strain on resources. It has created backlogs in the system. The government felt a need to manage this situation. They believe the new act will help create a more orderly process. Global events also play a significant role. The world has seen increased displacement of people. This is due to conflicts, climate change, and instability. National security concerns are another key driver. The government states that a stronger border is essential. It helps to prevent terrorism and organized crime. The Strong Borders Act will significantly change the asylum process, introducing a series of new regulations and procedures that aim to tighten the control over who can seek refuge in Canada. For those seeking refuge, the path may become harder, as the new rules could create additional hurdles and requirements that must be met before asylum can be granted. The Act introduces faster processing for certain claims, which is intended to streamline the system and reduce the backlog of cases that has plagued the immigration system for years. This could be good for those with clear-cut cases, allowing them to receive decisions more quickly and begin their new lives in Canada without prolonged uncertainty. However, it also means less time to gather evidence, which could be a significant disadvantage for those whose cases are more complex or who need additional time to compile the necessary documentation or to find legal representation for others, as the shortened timelines may make it more difficult for asylum seekers to secure the legal assistance they need to navigate the process effectively. Critics worry this speed could lead to unfair decisions, as the pressure to process cases quickly might result in mistakes or oversights that could have serious consequences for those involved. One of the most debated parts is the Safe Third Country Agreement expansion, which has been a contentious issue among policymakers and advocates alike. Canada already has this agreement with the U.S., which requires asylum seekers to claim protection in the first safe country they arrive in, rather than choosing their preferred destination. It means asylum seekers must claim protection in the first safe country they arrive in, which can limit their options and force them to seek refuge in countries where they may not have the same opportunities or support systems. The new act might seek to apply similar principles more broadly, potentially extending the Safe Third Country Agreement to other nations, and further restricting the ability of asylum seekers to choose Canada as their destination. This could limit the number of people eligible to claim asylum in Canada, as they may be required to seek protection elsewhere, even if they have valid reasons for wanting to come to Canada. Many human rights groups oppose this aspect strongly, arguing that it undermines the principles of international protection and could leave vulnerable individuals without the support they need. The act also proposes changes to detention policies, which could result in more stringent measures for those awaiting decisions on their asylum claims, raising concerns about the treatment and rights of detainees. A central aim of the Strong Borders Act is to enhance national security. The government argues that a modern border needs modern tools. This means investing in new technologies. Think of advanced surveillance systems at ports of entry. Consider more sophisticated cargo screening methods. The Act allocates significant funding for these upgrades. The goal is to detect and deter threats more effectively. The Act emphasizes better intelligence capabilities. This involves closer cooperation between Canadian agencies. The Canada Border Services Agency, or CBSA, will play a key role. So will the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, and the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, or CSIS. They will share information more seamlessly. The aim is to create a unified front against security risks. The Strong Borders Act expands data collection and sharing. This is a critical component of the new security measures. Canadian authorities will collect more biometric data. This includes fingerprints and facial scans from a wider group of people. This data will be stored in new databases. It will be used for identity verification. It will also be used for background checks. The government says this is essential for accurate identification. Information sharing with international partners will also increase. Canada already works with countries like the United States, and with members of the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance. The new act aims to strengthen these partnerships. It will allow for more systematic exchange of border-related data. This could include passenger information and watch lists. The Canadian government strongly defends the Strong Borders Act. Officials say it is a necessary modernization of border management. They argue that global migration patterns have changed. Security threats have also evolved. Canada's laws needed to adapt to these new realities. The Minister of Public Safety has stated this repeatedly. He emphasizes that the act is about safety and order. It is not about closing Canada's doors. A key argument from the government is fairness. They say the act will create a more equitable system. It aims to deter those who try to game the system. This includes making unfounded asylum claims. Despite government assurances, the Strong Borders Act faces strong criticism. Human rights organizations are particularly vocal. Groups like Amnesty International Canada and the Canadian Council for Refugees have raised alarms. They argue the act prioritizes enforcement over compassion. They fear it will harm vulnerable asylum seekers. They believe it could lead to refoulement. This means sending people back to danger. Legal experts also have concerns. Many immigration lawyers worry about due process. They point to faster processing times and potentially limited appeal rights. They argue this could lead to mistakes that have life or death consequences for asylum seekers. The Canadian Bar Association has called for careful review. The Strong Borders Act of 2025 marks a pivotal moment for Canada. This legislation is seen as a significant step in the country's ongoing efforts to secure its borders while managing the complexities of modern migration. It reflects a global trend towards tighter border controls, a response to increasing concerns over national security and illegal immigration. The act aims to enhance security by implementing advanced surveillance technologies and increasing the presence of border security personnel. It seeks to streamline asylum processes, making it more efficient for those seeking refuge to have their cases heard and decided upon in a timely manner. It also intends to manage migration flows more effectively, ensuring that the system can handle the influx of people without becoming overwhelmed. The government presents it as a balanced approach, one that addresses security concerns while still upholding Canada's commitment to humanitarian values, one that is necessary for a modern, secure nation, capable of protecting its citizens and maintaining order. They believe it will maintain public confidence in the system reassuring citizens that their safety is a top priority. However, the act has ignited a passionate debate among Canadians. Many are concerned about the potential implications for civil liberties and human rights. Critics fear it may undermine Canada's humanitarian traditions, which have long been a source of national pride. They worry about the impact on asylum seekers who may face additional hurdles and delays in their quest for safety. They raise concerns about privacy and due process, questioning whether the new measures might infringe on individual rights. The new measures, while aiming for efficiency, could have unintended consequences, potentially leading to bureaucratic bottlenecks and increased scrutiny. They could affect the lives of many vulnerable individuals, making it harder for them to find the protection and support they need in times of crisis.